So we have a House Ethics Committee report on Representative Matt Gaetz, or former Representative Matt Gaetz. We're going to go through this article from The Guardian. They highlight some key findings from the House Ethics Committee's Matt Gaetz report, and then we'll go into the reasons behind it, why you probably shouldn't believe it, why there is some evidence that it is false testimony or untrustworthy testimony. So we'll go into what's being alleged here, and then we'll go into Matt Gaetz' response, and we will also go into some of the witnesses being labeled as untrustworthy. So before we get into that, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I post videos like this daily. I'm always interested in talking about politics, social issues, world events, anything of the sort. If there's something you want me to cover in a video, you can always contact me on Twitter, or you can leave a comment down below. But if you're interested in anything politics or news-wise, subscribe to the channel. But other than that, let's jump into this here. So what is Matt Gaetz being alleged to have done? So let's go on down here. Where did it go? Oh, it's because it's trying to get me to sign in to The Guardian. No, thank you. So from 2017 to 2020, Matt Gaetz regularly paid women for engaging in S activity with him. The committee found that between 2017 and 2020, Gaetz paid tens of thousands of dollars to women, likely in connection with S activity and or drug use. He paid the women using online services such as PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App with cash or check. So one thing I do want to say while we're going through this is just allegations. He has not been charged or convicted of anything. He is innocent until proven guilty, regardless of your political leanings or anything otherwise. And I'm not saying this because I voted for Trump. I am saying this because I believe that for everyone. You can go back and look at my videos with Luigi Mangione. I believe he's innocent until he has been proven guilty. That goes for everyone, and that is what we need to live by in this country. So Matt Gaetz is innocent until he is proven guilty. So please understand that. All of the allegations being made here have not been substantiated, and he has not been charged with anything. These are simply allegations. The committee also found that Gaetz likely violated Florida's statutory grape law. One woman told the panel that she had S with Gaetz at a party in 2017 when she was 17, and she received a $400 cash payment that she understood to be for the act. She testified that she did not inform Gaetz that she was under 18 at the time, nor did he ask her age. The committee said Gaetz learned she was a minor more than a month after the party in 2017 where they had sex. I shouldn't have said that. He met up with her for commercial S again less than 6 months after she turned 18, according to the report. The report concluded that the encounter likely violated Florida state law on statutory because Gaetz was 35 years old at the time. So, of course, Matt Gaetz is denying all of these allegations. He's posting evidence to the otherwise. He's posting things that show that these witnesses are not to be believed. I believe multiple of the witnesses being used in this that were used for this committee are witnesses that even the Department of Justice has denied their validity. So the committee did not find evidence that Gaetz engaged in trafficking. While Gaetz was, so I'm not even gonna read that. They did not find evidence of it. So we don't even need to go into that. Gaetz used or possessed illegal drugs. The committee found substantial evidence that Gaetz used marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy. Women the committee spoke with said they saw Gaetz take cocaine or understood him to regularly be using ecstasy. So that's one of the things that Matt Gaetz points out in this report is, can you believe someone on drugs? Is someone on drugs a reliable witness? He made the point on Twitter that we should be asking the witnesses if they also saw Tupac and one other individual, because that is a good point. They can't prove that he was there. The evidence that he was there just isn't there. The only evidence they have is eyewitness testimony, which eyewitness testimony is regularly proven to be false because people don't exactly know what they're seeing all the time, especially when they're on a substance that alters their brain. Marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, things of that nature. You don't always know what you're seeing, and we can't trust your eyewitness testimony when you're on drugs. That's just how it goes. Gaetz violated the House gift rule, which who cares? Almost all members of the government do, so I don't care. If they really want to get him on that, then they should go after everybody else that does that stupid crap. Gaetz dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship. There is a substantial evidence that Gaetz used the power of his office to help a woman with whom he had a relationship with to get an expedited passport, the report says. I mean, I'm sure a lot of government officials do that. I'm sure they use their weight in office to help people they know. So I again don't care. Gaetz knowingly and willfully sought to impede and obstruct the committee's investigation, except they go on to say that they didn't find sufficient evidence for this. Gaetz pointed to evidence that would exonerate him, yet failed to produce any such materials. Continuously sought to deflect, deter, and mislead the committee in order to prevent his actions from being exposed. No, this wasn't a trial or anything. He couldn't there wasn't like, he couldn't go in front of a judge and like explain himself. This was just a committee investigating him, and it was politically motivated. So Gaetz acted in a manner that reflects discredibility upon the House. The report said that while Gaetz' obstruction of the investigation does not rise to a criminal violation, so it's not even they're just complaining. They're just complaining that he didn't do everything they wanted him to do, but none of it was a criminal violation is what they're saying here. So it's like, why even mention it? So overall, what the committee found is they're alleging that he used drugs, he slept with someone who was 17, and paid for sex. I mean, all of that is explainable depending on the context you put it in. So we're going to go over here and jump to the Gateway Pundit. So Matt Gaetz responds to his House Ethics Committee report. I don't know why I keep saying health. As the Gateway Pundit reported earlier, the House Ethics Committee released the Gaetz report on Monday after quietly voting to release the report earlier this month in a significant reversal. Gaetz responded to today's report in explosive fashion in a series of tweets. This included testimony from one witness saying she never charged anyone anything. Giving funds to someone you are dating that they didn't ask for and that isn't charged for sex is now prostitution. There is a reason they did this to me on in a Christmas Eve report, not in a courtroom of any kind where I could present evidence and challenge witnesses. Of course, he was unable to challenge any of the witnesses. The witnesses were just able to lie and give their testimony. This testimony from one of the alleged prostitutes that you won't see in the report. So we have a tweet here from Matt Gaetz. Giving funds to someone you're dating that they didn't ask for. We already read that. There's a reason they did this to him on Christmas Eve. So he highlights here in one of the transcripts that one of the witnesses outright says that she never charged anyone for anything. It was just given. So what Gaetz was saying on Twitter or X is that he was in a relationship with these individuals, and when you're in a relationship with people, you help them financially. If you've ever been in a relationship, you know that that's just blatantly obvious. If you're in a relationship with someone, there are times when you give them money to help them out with things, or you see that they're struggling in a way, so you give them money. That is in no way paying for relations with the individual. It is completely different, though you can misconstrue it to look the other way, but that's not what's happening. Gaetz then revealed testimony showing another witness admitting she was not a prostitute. Another one of the ethics witnesses, who was an alleged prostitute, claims she was indeed not when actually pressed in a deposition. This won't be in the ethics report because, of course. So he again highlights here in the transcript. Let's just read this whole thing here. Were you escorting, working? What were you doing? Miss Wolf, objection form. I wouldn't consider it any of those. There was a lot of times where I did not get paid for being there. In that time, I thought a lot of these people were my friends. Okay, all right. So you wouldn't characterize anything you did in 2017 as sex work? No. She just outright answers no. So the people that Matt Gaetz had allegedly paid for work, they're outright denying that they had even participated in work related to that. So how can both things be true? Either they are sex workers or they're not. Either they're accepting money for sex or they're not, and they outright say they're not. but the way that they ask these questions to these individuals, it makes it seem like they're getting paid for this, but they're not. More testimony you won't see in the ethics report. This is clearly not prostitution under any conceivable definition, which is why I was never charged with a crime, which I would again like to highlight. This ethics report comes out, it's completely motivated, politically motivated. He has not been charged with any crimes. He's not been convicted of any crimes. If what is being alleged in these reports is true, charge him and convict him. That way, there is no shadow of a doubt that he did this. If you bring this to a court of law, go through it, present the evidence, and he's able to challenge it in a court of law, because that is how it's supposed to be in this country. People are supposed to be able to defend themselves against allegations like this. If he actually has found to have done something wrong, then convict him, charge him, whatever you got to do. But putting out a ethics report right before Christmas to smear the guy, I don't agree with it, especially when the evidence is thin. And then he has yet another piece from the transcript when they're asked if they were promised anything. No, we never discussed money. So again, more testimony proving that he did not pay anybody anything. Gaetz went on to retweet supportive messages from conservatives speaking out against the travesty. The Gateway pundit previously reported the House Ethics Panel Security voted to release a damaging lawfare report on Gaetz before the end of this Congress. The panel previously voted not to release the report after Gaetz resigned from Congress last month, but they wanted to get in one last shot at him and ruin his political career. And that is the goal. They don't like Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is one of the top political figures on the right. Do you, let's say you don't like Matt Gaetz. Do you really think that the Biden administration or Democrats in general wouldn't be pushing for this man's arrest, pushing for him to be charged and convicted if he had actually committed these crimes? Do you think the Attorney General would not be after him? I just think you have to jump through so many loops for you to be like, yes, he did all of these things, but the Democrats that are currently in power just aren't going to charge him. That doesn't make any sense to me. If there's evidence of a crime, the Democrats would immediately go after it. That's just plain and simple. We have a tweet here from Matt Gaetz. He's speaking about the party that he had allegedly been at, where he's alleged to have done multiple different drugs. So this is a tweet directly from Matt Gaetz. I'm accused of being at some party 5 years ago. Here's the gate log for that home in a community that checks driver's licenses for entrance. I am not on the log. The other attendees are, but people who said they were on drugs say they remember me there. Do they also remember seeing Jimmy Hoffa and Tupac? Yeah, so the only evidence is that there was eyewitness testimony saying that he was at this party doing drugs. And he proves here that all these other individuals that are apparently that were there are on the list, but he is not on the list. Now, is this the whole list? I don't have access to that. I only have access to what Gaetz is showing. But again, if we were to charge him, then we can go and get an investigation into this. And if he's on the log, then that would be further evidence that he was there, right? But instead, the committee just wants to use eyewitness testimony. I don't know. But we'll go into this one over here from, which one was this? This is the Federalist. So House probe into Matt Gaetz relies on witnesses DOJ found lacked credibility. The last 8 years, the Department of Justice has been a disaster for the rule of law. The sprawling intelligence and law enforcement agency ran the Russia collusion hoax, hamstringing President Donald Trump during his entire first term in office. So we'll go down here. Gaetz had proven to be one of the most effective advocates against corruption at the DOJ and was unwilling to back down in the face of overwhelming public pressure. However, Gaetz does not fit the education or experience profile of many previous attorney generals and has limited experience practicing law. So let's go down here. So one of the two witnesses have massive credibility problems. The claims arose from Joel Greenberg, one of the most corrupt Florida politicians of all time. According to a Florida report, Mark Caputo, who is now with the anti-Trump media outlet The Bulwark, among many things the former Seminole County tax collector admitted to as part of a wide-ranging case for which he is currently serving 11 years in prison, was falsely accusing local political opponent Brian Butte of having sex with a minor. Similar to the outlandish claim he made against Gaetz, Greenberg also reportedly later attempted to frame his own attorney with pornographic images of children. Isn't that lovely? One New York Times write-up of Greenberg was headlined, "Like the Tiger King got elected tax collector." According to the Washington Post, Greenberg admitted to fabricating allegations against a school teacher. Okay, well, where's the politicized employee at the DOJ have shown themselves willing to explore novel legal theories and bend federal rules to the breaking point in pursuit of their most reviled political opponents. Most notably, former and future President Trump. Gaetz has a reputation as one of the most tenacious cross-examiners of the DOJ officials from his perch in the White Community Judiciary Committee. Yet even the DOJ was unwilling to exploit Greenberg's unsubstantiated claims, apart from leaking them in the press to hurt Gaetz' reputation. They announced their closure of the investigation in 2022. So if you remember, Gaetz was being investigated, and they dropped all the cases against him because they didn't find anything. So now the House Ethics Committee, however, decided to pick up the dropped and deflated ball and run with it a full year after the DOJ dropped the investigation. So that's another point I'd like to hit home. The DOJ already investigated Matt Gaetz. They investigated him and didn't charge him with anything. So I assume, based off of that, there wasn't anything he did wrong. So instead of just dropping it, the House Ethics Committee decides to pick it up and continue investigating it. Again, not really finding anything that they can charge him with. So, it is stupid. This is right before Christmas. I'll go ahead and link to this article down below, but I'll link all the articles down below if you want to read them yourself, because I am skipping through some of this. A little notice lawsuit from 2023 gives some insight into Greenberg and two women involved in the scheme against Gaetz. Greenberg alleges one of these women had sex with Gaetz when she was a minor. The other woman is her longtime roommate and friend, 2 years older, who has reportedly corroborated her friend's claims. The crime spree Greenberg was convicted of, including charges related to his ongoing sexual relationship with the 17-year-old. He met her on a site for older men with money and younger women needing money who are prepared to have with older men. The practice matches sugar daddies with sugar babies and is considered a form of prostitution, because it is. The woman lied about her age when she registered on the site, and the married Greenberg maintains he was not aware she was a minor when he began having relations with her. The lawsuit shows that Greenberg became insistent that Gaetz help him obtain a pardon for his various crimes. When he was repeatedly told that wouldn't happen, Greenberg reportedly said he would seek vengeance on those who refused to help him during his time of need. So this guy commits crimes, and then he vows vengeance on the people that didn't want to help him commit those crimes. The latter claim was supported by a September letter from Gaetz to the House Ethics Committee. Gaetz revealed a letter from jailhouse informant who shared a holding cell with Greenberg when Greenberg admitted making stuff up about Gaetz as part of his plan to lighten what could have been as much as a 27-year sentence in federal prison. He was eventually sentenced to 11 years for his role in sex trafficking, identity theft, public corruption, involving taxpayer money, and contract stalking and security fraud business loans. Two former federal agents interviewed the inmate, who told them Greenberg said the women Greenberg was convicted of having sex with as a minor would be willing to adopt Greenberg's lie in hopes of future financial benefits. The woman is referenced in news reports and legal documents as AB. A 2023 lawsuit from Chris Dorworth, a former Florida state representative and friend of Gaetz, reveals that Greenberg said AB performed deviant acts on the internet for money and would do whatever he said because he was paying her legal bills. He even sent a text message to Dorworth confessing he was paying for her legal bills. I'm having to pay for AB to retain lawyer, Greenberg wrote in a text to Dorworth. They contacted her and are wanting to talk. She doesn't want to talk to them. Likely Venmo was the link. I need help with this. So the witnesses that the committee are using for this allegations are not really trustworthy. It seems like they're just being bought and paid for. So I don't really know how much you can believe from this ethics report. Like I said, I just wanted to go through it and kind of see what is being said. Matt Gaetz is denying all of it. He's posting evidence to his Twitter to show his innocence. And as far as I can tell, it's a political smear job. They're trying to get him out of politics. If there was actually anything here, charge the man, convict him. And, let's just get it over with. Like, why does there have to be a political smear? Why does the committee have to release this to the public? The committee could just give this to the attorney general and be like, here's the crimes that he committed. Charge him. Like it is really that easy. If he actually committed a crime and you guys have evidence of this crime, instead of just releasing it to the public for some political purpose, why don't you just give it to someone who can actually do something with it? Until then, I don't really care. I don't really believe any of this. Matt Gaetz, overall, he's been a great politician, and I think that the swamp just wants to drain him out of there because they know he's they know that he's going against them, and he actually works for the American people. At least that's what I believe. But if something comes out where he does get charged and convicted, I'll be the first person to say that I'm wrong. But until then, innocent until proven guilty. And this is really stupid to have going on right before Christmas. But of course, that's our government for you. They like to waste our time with needless nonsense. But hopefully I broke that down well enough for you. I likely did miss some things. So if you want to leave that down in the comments below, you can send me links on Twitter, link down in the comments, however you want to reach me. If there is a bunch of stuff that I missed, I can make another video going over that. If there's more evidence that I missed that shows that he isn't innocent, please show that to me as well. And I'll, again, make another video about it. But until then, until we have more updates to the situation, as far as I'm aware, it's all a bunch of BS and it's a political smear job, just like they often do. But thank you for watching. This has been Tyler Today News. I hope all of you are having a very Merry Christmas Eve, and I hope all of you have a fantastic Christmas Day. I'm not sure if I will be posting tomorrow on Christmas. If there are any news stories, perhaps I will, but I will likely be with my family, just as I hope all of you are. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Have a great day. Merry Christmas.